So, here is a bit of a dilemma that I have faced, and probably some other people face as well. And it's a dilemma that people who write a journal for posterity face. If this is the case, if we are users or fans of filofaxes, the question is, the dilemma is, what are the pros and cons of using a bound book to jot down the things each day that we want to remember, versus using a filofax to do the same thing? Now, I've been thinking about this for quite a long time, and initially, and I have done in the past, I've written in a bound book. And there are cons about writing in a bound book. The main one being if you make a mistake. If you effectively blot your copybook, that is the major problem. However, one of the pros, well, that is the con of writing in a book. But one of the cons, the major con, in my opinion, of writing in using a filofax to write a journal is the fact that, unless you're just writing for yourself, you may be writing with the aim to leave your memories, opinions, thoughts, whatever, for posterity, perhaps for your children or your grandchildren or your descendants in 200 or 300 or 400 years' time. It is possible that they will be reading your journal. But my hunch is that if they are reading in 300 or 400 years' time, a loose leaf system such as a filofax is prone to two problems compared to a bound book. One is these filofaxes will become more and more valuable as time goes by, because they are a finite thing. Certainly for vintage filofaxes, they're no longer made, although there are some facsimile models made periodically, as an example, for the Japanese market. Sadly, we don't seem to have them here. We're not offered them here, but the Japanese market is they're big fans. They're big fans of vintage filofaxes, and so I mean, I won't bang on about it, but when we had the 100th anniversary of Filofax, they had some amazing facsimile Winchesters made for the Japanese market. What did we get in the UK? Some coloured stickers and things. I can't even remember what it was, but we did get the Grace Sker duplex facsimile for the 75th anniversary, but come the 100th anniversary, we weren't offered anything of any significance here in the UK. So there is a risk that the contents of your filofax will be thrown away by some recalcitrant descendant, because they will want to sell your binder. Whereas if you write in a bound book, you're not going to have the same problem, because it's a bound book. It has no intrinsic value once the pages have been written on. But this will become increasingly valuable. So those, in my opinion, are the two cons. The other disadvantage, I suppose, with a filofax based journal is that it's a little bit more difficult to get quality paper that takes a fountain pen. You don't get bleed through. It can be quite expensive. It's certainly more expensive to get quality paper for a Filofax than it is for, I mean, this is fantastic quality. This is a Rhodia made by, well, the paper is Clairefontaine, and it's horses for courses, but we know that Moleskin books, the paper is not really suitable for fountain pens, but certainly Rhodia, the quality is sensational. It's more difficult with the Filofax, unless, as I've got some coming all the way from France right now, Clairefontaine sheets in A5, and the plan, my cunning plan, if you like, is to cut them down, which is a bit labour intensive, but it is what it is. Cut them down into personal size sheets for a journal, the purposes of a journal. I did actually email Clairefontaine about 10 years ago to suggest that they made Clairefontaine paper available in personal size, and I'm not quite sure, because I'm a bit out of touch with Clairefontaine paper, I believe there might be some, or there was some, I don't know. But anyway, so I've got some A5 sheets coming all the way from France, which I intend to use in this particular binder. And I have several vintage binders. Quite a lot of them are Winchesters. And I have a plan. So the plan is I will continue my journal using loose leaf sheets in these binders, and to be honest, they are so tactile that it's going to be an enjoyable experience. And why am I why am I taking journaling a little bit more serious these days? Well, I am, shall we say, I'm aware of my mortality, or the lack of it, and so I want to write some stuff down for my grandchildren, and I think that's quite common with people of my age who are, they're coming towards the end of their years, as it were. So there is I feel that it's imperative for me to take journaling more seriously, and I have dabbled for the last 50 years, but it hasn't quite stuck, every day. I don't do it every day, but I'm hoping to get into the swing of things. So what I'm going to do, I'm prevaricating now, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to write individual sheets, which I can then insert into a series of vintage Filofaxes. But periodically, maybe once a month, I will then take the best of my rough jottings, if you like, and copy them out into probably Rhodia, hardbound Rhodia books. I'm pretty certain that I'm going to use A5 rather than, well, it's not quite A5, but I'm pretty certain that I'm going to use Rhodia books, because this will be around certainly in 300, 400, 500 years if my descendants look after them and they think there may be some merit. Who knows? They'll probably just chuck them away, or they might end up in some future car boot sale or yard sale or an auction, house clearance auction. You never know, but that is the risk you take with journaling. So I'm going to start with individual sheets in a Filofax, and then I'm going to have a précis form, or perhaps I will copy out verbatim. Periodically, every week or every month, I will transfer things almost like a medieval scribe, copying one document to recreate another, although there won't be any illuminations. So that is my intent. I've been thinking about it for quite some time, and that's basically how I'm going to roll with this task. And I might be here in a year's time or 5 years' time, hopefully longer than that. But while I'm here, I'm going to harness my desire for the written word, and I'm going to enjoy the experience of writing not only in a Filofax but also in a hardbound book. And I use these quite a lot because of the paper, but they will both have similar paper. Clairefontaine in here and Clairefontaine paper in these Rhodia books. So I hope you share some enthusiasm with me about journaling, and I'm open to comments about whether or not this is overkill, or whether it's a therapeutic exercise, or whether it's a sensible strategy for preserving my personality, and my personality perhaps will outlive me and be enjoyed by future generations, maybe even historians. You never know, because one thing we are certain of, and that is that certainly as people in this era where we're making this transition between the written word to the digital word, one thing is certain: a lot of that digital knowledge, that digital prose, will be lost because of the transition, I suspect, from one storage medium to another. Not everything is going to be saved, so there's going to be some tangible advantage with writing, and that's what it's all about. And no doubt that is why you're watching this video with me today. Okay, I'm waffling, so I'm going to stop there, but thank you for watching, mainly listening, and bye for now.